Hello, everybody. It's Jason and Janet again, and here we are to discuss the weekly energy report using human design and the Cosmic Tribe Tarot. And we have an interesting week this week, Jason. I mean, isn't it enough that Mercury's retrograde and Pluto's gone retrograde and that we have Saturn retrograde and Venus at least isn't retrograde anymore? Was that a fake one?
Sorry about that.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I thought you were faking it.
No. You know, spring is sprung. Everything is starting to, anyway.
Yes, I know. Yesterday I was outside going, the air smells so wonderful. The tulips are blooming and all of the fruit trees are blossoming, and oh man, at nighttime you can hear the frogs and the air smells sweet and it's warming up. For us it's like 50s instead of 40s, and I went outside with just a jacket on and it wasn't raining. Woohoo! It was great. So here we are to really talk about the energy of the upcoming week. From a human design perspective, our week begins on Saturday, the 22nd. Last week, I led you to believe that our human design week went through the 23rd. It actually only goes through the 22nd. I sort of mislooked at the line in the book. Maybe I should do that when I have my glasses on instead of off. Probably would help. So this week we have, remember last week we talked about the fact that Mercury was in the gate 27, which especially on Easter Sunday, which was the day where I said, you know, we have this beautiful, wonderful, nurturing, feed me, love me sort of energy available to us. Well, this week we have the sun at gate 27. So we have, you know, the 6 days of the sun cycle in the gate of nurturing, and the kind of nurturing that feeds us, right? That takes care of us, that washes our clothes for us or educates us or in some way supports us in the world. Whether you are the one being nurtured or the one that's receiving nurturing, the sun is really putting a lot of focus on that aspect of us this particular week. So
I like that.
Love them all. What?
I like that idea.
I do too. Now, you know, we can't always speak about the sun without its pairing partner, which is the moon. No, not the moon. The earth.
Sorry, who are you? Who are you? What are you doing here?
I don't know. Mercury retrograde got a hold of me there for a minute. So the sun and the earth come together as a package. Right. So the earth is going to be sitting at gate 28, which is called the gate of struggle. So it's an interesting sort of combination of energies we get this week, with the idea of nurturing something, nurturing ourselves, or being nurtured, nurturing others, and this gate of struggle, which is sort of mutative energy, which is the struggle comes in from trying to make change that's adaptive, that makes sense in the world. There's a whole generation of people, I think they're in their early 30s right now, who came with their Pluto, I believe it is, at the gate of struggle. So it is an entire generation of people who, at least for the short term, are going to be advancing into this energy of struggle, the struggle to make change. And it'll be an interesting kind of road for them ahead. And we may just, you know, be able to, in this particular week, see a way that we can make change that's more nurturing, that's more suitable for us as individuals. So don't be afraid. Struggle's not something about suffering. You know, suffering is optional, but struggle is a part of us being human beings. You don't have to suffer through the struggle.
Suffering is appreciated, but optional.
Suffering is optional, but struggle is not, because struggle brings change, it brings transformation, and it brings evolution, right? Evolution, the evolution of consciousness. And so I really want to say that this is a week for us to really get in tune with how can we nurture a world, our world, in a way that advances ourselves as humanity, the human factor and not the mechanized factor or the separation factor, but what brings us together as people. So that's my sun and earth this week. What you got?
I just want to recap there. So I understand the nurturing part with the sun, and then the earth part is saying that we have struggled. Recap that for me again.
Struggle, not suffering, right? The energy of struggle it's on the spleen, by the way, right? The spleen is the center for time, intuition, health, and survival. So sometimes gate 28 evokes a fear because fear resides in the spleen. Well, the fear of gate 28 is that the struggle is all for naught, right? That there's no real meaning to all of the struggling that's going on. We fear that it's, never going to change. But if we can move into more nurturing energy and realize that struggle isn't equatable to suffering, then what we can see is that we can struggle for the right things, right? The opposite gate of struggle is fight. What are we fighting for? What's important to us? We're not needing to fight just for the sake of fighting, but the struggle is all about how do we advance ourselves in loving, kind ways, not struggling, suffering ways.
That's an interesting, very interesting. I'm not 100% sure how to twist this, how to read this, because, excuse me, the cards first talk to me about the fact that right now there is something happening universally. There is something happening right now with the universe card, which means totality. So if I was to interpret this card, it would be discussing how it is that the universe gives you what you need. And that's what this card talks about. Look, everything, the sun, the moon, the earth, the fire, the water, it's all included here.
It's the universe. Okay, gotcha.
It's the universe card.
I see it looks like a snake, an eye.
The Kundalini, which is the first chakra, and it comes up, it's talking about the Alpha and the Omega, top chakra, lower chakra, the fact that the hands are in this position of, yes, bring it on, mama, and we've got, all the 4 elements going on, and it talks about, yes, it can be a nurturing card. What I find interesting is the next 2 cards. I did it sort of in a combined reading here.
A group.
A gloop.
You did a Groupon.
How do I say this? Spin this for the next thing. Here's how it goes, folks. If you pussy out, you're going to have a problem. What do I mean by that? And, everybody that sees my show or listens or has readings by me, they understand I'm a foul-mouthed motherfucker, but I tell it like it is. We have this card right now, look at the lion. Yeah, it's talking about being strong. It's talking about facing your fears, having courage to address this earth energy of struggle. Because if you don't, we have the Knight of Discs here, and tell me, you look vivacious and happy?
No, he looks a little dejected or sad or...
Worked out. He is exhausted. So if you resist this quote-unquote struggle, you will come up short this period. This struggle is being given to you for you to be brave, to know that you are being backed up by the sun, by the universe, by God. But if you don't, listen to this card. And look, very often in the human design, you tell me, Jason, okay, you have this set of circumstances. And do you know how it is that you deal with it? With courage.
Right.
I have these issues, X, Y, and Z. This channel is fucked by that and planet. But you have to move through them. And you move through them by being courageous. And you just, even though you have a fear about something, you just do it anyway.
Well, you know what? That's exactly the words from the spleen, is that you have a fear, but you push through it and you do it anyway.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I think these, cards are hopeful in that the universal struggle that we are in sort of the midst of. I wish I could say it's going to end tomorrow, because that would be oh so nice. But we are struggling. There's a real life struggle going on here, not only for survival or what we believe is survival, like if the more money I have, the more safe I am, or the more toys I have, the more important I am, the more power I have, the more I get to control the world. But all of that is a fallacy, because the only thing that you have that we can really rely on here on this planet is change.
And Janet.
And me. Struggle, right? Struggle is what this planet brings us. And the struggle is always about improvement. It is about evolving. It is about becoming more than what we believed that we could be. And I understand that last card in this context, because we're facing some really dire things on this planet right now. You only have to look at last week to see how close we could come to literally nuclear annihilation. And are we willing to go that far, or are we willing to make some changes? Are we willing to nurture what we all value as a species, what we all value as humans? And I believe, you know, there are times I want to give up this whole thing, Jason. I mean, not give up as in necessarily die, although sometimes I, would think, I just don't want to be on this planet anymore. I don't want to be in this energy of hate and separation and discord and who's bombing who and who's got more money and all of this ugly energy that's been going on here. But if I don't stay here and if I don't do my part, then I'm also part of the problem, not part of the solution. So we need all these light workers here. We need the people here with wisdom, with what is going to be Venus's role as we come up into this week, switching planets here. She will be at gate 25, the gate of universal love, right? The gate of the love of spirit, the gate of love that's bigger than every other energy here, even though at times that energy of hate or discord feels like it's taking over. So I think, I didn't say that card before you pulled those others. I mean, I didn't talk about that gate before you pulled those cards. But the universe card, I think, also speaks to the potential, the high side of molding the world according to love, as opposed to molding the world according to hate, for lack of a better word.
Venus is at what gate? Repeat for me.
Gate 25, the gate of the love of spirit, or universal love, the big love, the big LOVE.
I have good news and bad news.
Let's hear the bad news first.
I think that Venus is going to be taking back seat and is going to be overpowered by Sun and by Earth.
Possibly. The Empress. She's a beauty.
She's a beauty, one in a million. Sorry. Now, this is a passive card. This is a card of love.
Isn't she representing the feminine energy?
Yes.
The feminine energy is receptive. Right?
Yes.
And yeah, I get it. So, right.
Well, you want to tell everybody else what you're having a brain fry over? What do you mean about the receptive?
Because I think it's perfect for Venus to be in that position in the cards and also in the gate 25, because the Empress is holding on to space for the people to come back to universal love, to come back to the nurturing feminine energy. And you and I talked about having a show in the near future where we talk about the masculine and the feminine. I think she sets a great stage for a movement toward that more receiving of universal love. It reminds me that we are always in receipt of that energy. It is not absent on the planet.
Right. However, she says, come to me, come to me, come to me. She is not active. She doesn't give a fuck whether you take advantage of this energy or not. She says, my garden is full. with all the bees. My garden is full. Well, I don't know. You can see the bees; they're everywhere in the picture. Anyway, she says, "Come to me. I am here. I have bounty. I have love for all of you that come to my garden. But it's incumbent upon you to do something." So, while she is receiving people, the message here is to go into it with love. That's the only way you're gonna. I know that sounds so fucking hallmarky, but it seems to be the obvious universal answer to the difficult energies that are.
Well, you know what would happen on this planet if we greeted struggle with love instead of fear?
It always reminds me of that famous 1960s. I don't know if it was on Time magazine, but that famous iconic picture of the hippie flower child putting the flower at the end of the rifle. You've seen that imagery, right?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 60s, like peace, love, man, where the fucking hippie, she just puts a flower right in the end of the musket, end of the rifle. So, now, so that's the sun, and that is the earth, and that is Venus. Do we have any other mixes?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Jupiter this week, because I think, all of those energies are great. And, they're a little disturbing, they're a little disruptive, but they're also very helpful in our getting clarity about what direction we really want to head in. Helpful in that is that Jupiter, our reward, sits at the gate 57 and has been there for a while, and really drawing us more inward to our intuitive self, right? And begging us really, or setting the stage for us to really listen to our instincts and to our inner voices. And as long as Jupiter sits at that point, if we are willing to listen, we might make better choices, right? We might just do what's better for everyone, including ourselves, and choose love and not fear, or choose love and not hate, separation, discord, and ugliness. And I think it's really validating for us all to understand that Jupiter, which is a very benefic planet, no matter which system of astrology you listen to, Jupiter's usually inclined to be benefic. And if that's the case, then we have the perfect opportunity to tune in to something deeper, something, I want to say, more primal. I mean, there's a primal need for humans to form community, and love is part of that community. I think we've just gotten out of that as we plunged through the Pluto and Leo generation, which really emphasized individualism versus community. And we need to move away from that. We need to start electing people who are no longer part of that Pluto and Leo generation. And that means people who were born from 1957 on this direction, and not 57 and before. So think about that next time you go to the polls. Ask the birth date of the person you're dealing with, because the Pluto and Leo generation has had their time. Individualism is set here on the planet. Now we need that Pluto and Virgo generation to step up and begin the healing process, to begin the natural connection between humanity and Earth. And I don't know why I got on that soapbox. I am now stepping off of it. And I don't know if you want to pull a card for Jupiter, a final card perhaps for the energy of the week, Jason? Or are
you're gonna have to Janify this for me, because it goes kind of against what you teach. But well,
I'm used to this.
Look a vous sits vous plates. And tell me, if you were, from just your own blind eye, to interpret this card from the images, what do you see?
I can't see it.
It's three of discs, and it's coming in at you. Is that good or closer?
No, that's perfect. I see rainbows. I see a pyramidal shape. What do you call those things? A prism. I see wheels, perhaps. And to me, the three of discs looks like we have to join spirit, matter, and what would the third one be? Huh?
Intellect and physical.
So we have to bring some energies together to really create perhaps what the road ahead is for us.
This card is usually the card that comes up for me when I'm reading scientists, doctors, anybody in the scientific community. If you look here, you'll see there is this stream from the upper left corner.
Yep.
And it's coming down. I could take out my wand, but I don't feel saying last words, but I don't feel like it. It comes through the prism, and from this prism then comes through this wonderful rainbow of creativity, and it is the byproduct of when white light, when God energy comes into this diamond. And I often talk about people being a gem and many facets.
Right.
And interestingly enough, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, these wheels that are just keeping it buoyant in the air, this prism. The prism is you. The prism asks you, however, to use your mind. Now, so much of what you teach with the human design is feel, 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 get out of your head.
I say that's how you make decisions. That's not how you live your life necessarily, but you make decisions from other parts of your body, not your head. But the mind is really important because guess what?
But the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
It is.
This card says, use your brains. That's what this card is saying to everyone. So whether it's electing an official who is competent as opposed to what we have going on right now, that's my big soapbox. Fuck that. This is asking us to clear out of some of the noise, the emotional right side brain insanity. It is a card that I often will tell scientists to meditate and focus because it's just coming in and out. Get out of the way, but get rid of the shit so that your analytical mind can look at stuff and decide what is necessary, what is right. Not being overwhelmed, being highly creative. That's my story.
I don't see that as against anything because I see it as finally what we last year's energy for the whole year was really about mindset. What is in our mind? Because if your mind is set against a world full of peace, do you really think you're going to create that?
No.
Right? So I think that it's very apropos to look at what, this beautiful warm light is entering in and it's breaking up into all of these creative energies. So what part of creation do we want to be a part of?
Yes.
Right? What do we want to create? Who do we want to be? Do we want to be the planet that dies off because we neglected to take care of her? Do we want to really have to accelerate our moving off this planet to another planet because we failed in our responsibility to caretake the planet or caretake one another? I think it all begins, we keep bringing it back home, caretaking yourself.
I think the reason I said that is because being Capricorn, being left side brained, yes, I'm creative and I have all that stuff, but being analytical, one of the first, hurdles I had to get through was to get out of my head.
Right.
So that's why I said that, being tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the energy, that's what's happening card-wise, which I'm glad, of course, dovetails with what you are expounding upon this week.
I wish I could be, I am in many respects very much a Pollyanna in that I really do see the high side of everything, and it really disturbs me when the low side or the more negative side shows up. But I also know that I have to deal with those same energies within myself, and I am responsible, right? I do that. I do my work.
Yes.
And I encourage everybody that I talk to do their own work, right? Why are you seeing what you're seeing in the world? And this is where that Jupiter at the gate of psychic activity is really helpful because it's pulling us inward, where we can take a look inside and clean up our own stuff before we go out in the world and make a mucky muck of, by projecting our own problems out there into the world. I mean, we have a president right now who is very much a projector of all the crap that we as human beings don't necessarily want to look at, or we as Americans maybe haven't wanted to look at.
He's a projector?
He is not a projector. He's a manifesting generator or generator, one of the two. But my point in saying it that way was that, we have projected outward onto him, right? Our fears, the things we don't want to look at or take care of. And it's time for us to be responsible for ourselves.
Agreed.
So that's what we have going on for this week. And in that then lies the pearl of being able to make sweeping changes in the world. We are in this struggle to maybe birth a new world or birth a new reality.
It'll be interesting to see what comes of this week. And this time period is starting from when?
The 23rd. Hold on. Let me check that date so I make sure I
double check.
It begins on Saturday, the 22nd of April, Earth Day. How fun is that? And all the way through to the 27th,
Wonderful.
So 5 or 6 days there of this energy. And because it is an Earth Day that this begins on, then Earth does take precedence here, right? I mean, we already honor Earth Day on the 22nd of April. Let's really do an honor to the Earth and begin struggling to make her beautiful, make her strong, make ourselves strong, and not destroy. We've been destructive enough. It's really time to be less virus-like and more symbiotic in our relationship with our mother.
Yeah, I realize this recording has probably gone on way too long. I saw something that truly sickened me and fucked me up. I grew up in a Mediterranean home. I grew up on a Greek Mediterranean diet. So there was a certain understanding that, what you put into your fucking head, into your mouth, you are what you eat. And I know I shouldn't take my news from Facebook, but this shit comes up, right? And I know for a lot of people that are conspiracy thinkers and blah, 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 but this messed me up. It was talking about these foods that are grown in a lab. What do I mean by that? I shouldn't even say grown, made.
Like GMOs or what?
I'm going to try and be articulate on this. So, okay. Any of you that know, for instance, if you go to get sushi or you go somewhere and they have that imitation crab leg, it's that piece of crab leg and it's sort of painted red on one side, and you'll see it in California rolls, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Do I want to hear this?
I'm not sure, but it kind of made me go, really? Wow. They've begun taking, and there's an actual synthetic name for it, they've begun taking the red blood cells and or enzymic particle of the red blood cell of pigs and cows and creating something called, look it up, folks, I can't make this shit up if I tried, food glue. They can take this food glue and create anything they want with it. Yeah, food glue. You're going to love it. There was even a video of how this one man actually created a head of cabbage right in front of you. I flipped out. I just flipped out. When I saw this food glue pouring in and pressing and how many foods are being created now, actually created by these substances that we're eating. There was an entire convention. I don't think it was at the Javits Center here, but it was somewhere out west. And all of these scientists were there, excited about these. And I'm thinking, are you for real? So why I went on that diatribe is because we have gotten so far away from nature.
Right.
And it's all about big business. And I'm not talking like a conspiracy person because I love capitalism. Don't misunderstand me. However,
we're not talking about capitalism. What you're talking about is corporatism.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, that I digress, just like you digressed in the last video. But yeah, it's time to get back to. And so Earth Day would be, it's just like when I hear the people that are, giving food for Thanksgiving or Christmas, people are hungry all year long. The Earth is hungry all year long for it to be taken care of. Fucking Earth Day, fuck that. Every day should be Earth Day. So that's just my thought on it.
As far as I'm concerned, every day is Earth Day, right? Yeah. I do cherish the planet that is beneath my feet. And it kills me when, we have a president who thinks it's okay to go and drill in the Arctic, that wants to dismantle the EPA. And, that's the one thing that stands between us living on a healthy planet versus corporate America that just thinks that they can eat up resources indiscriminately. It's scary. I'm not necessarily one for regulations, but I think we need regulations until people are in alignment with the planet and not thinking of her as something to be used, abused, and then thrown away. So I guess we have a ways to go, but we can start by changing our own attitudes and our own hearts and what we do. And that's where I'm going to start.
Wonderful. So as we wrap this up, everybody out there, please get in touch with Janet for a human design reading and or chart. And they can do that by contacting you through what?
Facebook at Living Astrology, or they can go to my website at living-astrology.com, or I play on Twitter, I play on LinkedIn. You can find me.
And so they can do your human design through those pages. Wonderful.
Correct. If you go to my website, you can absolutely get a free human design chart and or a free Jupiter and Libra chart, whichever you prefer at the moment.
Beautiful.
And then for you, my friend Jason, Titillating Tarot with Jason Livanis.
Yep, that's the website. Yep. I'm giving away a free identifier card. The identifier card basically shows you from the major arcana where you be, where you is.
And I was hanging.
You were hanging, which is great. Because you see things differently than other people. Thank God.
I do. I really do.
You see the world kind of upside down, which is good, because the next level, honey, is death. Getting rid of the ego. Getting rid of the ego. Ego.
There's all right.
Anybody who wants to get in touch with me through that will get a free mini reading. Sort of tantalize you and tease you to let you know what I'm all about. But much past that, thank you, Janet.
Thank you, Jason. And thank you, everyone who takes the time to listen to our weekly energy reports and our radio promos and our radio shows. We love you. Mwah. Take care and have a blessed week.
Thank you.